What's up, guys? This is the Mid Ohio Catfishing Podcast. I am your host, Corey, and we are underway here. We are going to be talking about a lot tonight. We are going to break down Salt Fork. It was a rough lake to fish. A lot of people would agree. We're going to preview Seneca. We've got Pam and Kody, our second place winners at Salt Fork, on. Our winner, which was Sean Dolphin. He works nights, so he's not really able to do a podcast. I'm hoping we can get a podcast with Sean really soon. Stay tuned, guys. This is going to be a great episode. We also have some really good stuff to preview coming up with the new Polar series that we launched today. After hearing a lot of you guys talk about wanting to fish some winter events, we have answered those calls, and we now have a winter series. We're calling it our Polar series. So we'll dive into that a little bit. We'll dive into how Pam and Kody fish to catch the big fish and get second place at Salt Fork. We will also dive into how others fished at Salt Fork. It was a tough lake. It was a giant lake, 3,600 acres of water at Salt Fork, 36 miles of shore, a lot of rock bottom, not very many fish. So it was a tough tournament. A lot of people struggled. Only one person I know did really well. He happened to win by 0.6 ounces. But we were waiting on Kody and Pam to get in here. Those are our guests for this evening. We are going to talk to them about how they fish at Salt Fork, as well as preview Seneca and get some preview going on the new winter trail we just launched called the Polar Series. So once they get in here, we will get going. Just want to give a shout out to Robert Yount, who also has a tournament this weekend. For those of you who are fishing my tournament at Seneca, we would be super thrilled if you'd pull a double and also fish Rob Yount's tournament in Zanesville, I believe, on the Muskingum. I'll be doing it. Chris and I will be fishing Seneca and the Muskingum for Rob Yount's tournament. Also, I do know that Catfish Bob has a tournament this weekend on Buckeye. Jack says, "What's up? I seen the winter tournament." Jack, yep, we have launched a winter trail. Like I said, we're calling it our Polar Series. It's for those of us who just can't seem to put the boat away. For the longest time, I was a deer hunter and a duck hunter, but for whatever reason, I like catfishing more. So I will be on the lake while everybody else is in their tree stand. So we'll get started here while we wait for Kody and Pam. Let's start out previewing Seneca for this weekend. This weekend, we have Seneca Lake. I have heard so many great things about Seneca Lake over the years. I know they've been stocking blue cats in there since 2016. To date, they've put 354,600 blue cats in the lake. Those numbers can be found on the ODNR's website. And, okay. Oh, there they are. Those numbers can be found on the ODNR website. And you can see in there. 300,000 blue cat stock since 2016. I would imagine we can go out there and catch one or two. But with nothing else to do, our guest this week is Pam and Kody. How you guys doing?
Hey, how's it going, man?
So Pam and Kody finished second at Salt Fork last weekend. I would rank Salt Fork as probably one of the hardest lakes that I've tried to learn to fish in a week. It was all rock bottom. There wasn't a whole lot going on. I elected to drag for channel cats. You guys tried dragging for channel cats and found a surprise.
Yes, we did.
Why don't you break down how you got ready for Salt Fork and what your guys' method was for fishing Salt Fork?
So we had to go through a lot. We ended up just getting this new boat. Took us quite a bit of motor swapping and a lot of late nights to get it together. We got up there to the top and we anchored down for a couple hours, didn't even get a bite. And so we pulled anchors and decided we was going to troll. And within 5 minutes, we landed a 22-pound shovelhead. So it's pretty excited about that. And it was still a pretty slow night, though, after that. I mean, we had one channel cat after that. We didn't even fill the 5, but luckily that flathead got us to second place.
And I've been researching that spot for a minute now, and I'd seen some pictures of some big shovelheads that have been caught in that area. So when we took off and we went around that curve to the left, everybody headed to the right side of the lake. We were the only boat that went to the left. So I was like, oh no, we're doing something wrong.
I'll tell you what was surprising to me. I launched an hour after everybody else. We hadn't eaten all day. We fished Hoover, so we decided we were just going to hang out. But I watched everybody else go right and you guys go left. I had already had a plan of where I wanted to go. I was going on the shallow end of the lake anyways to drag. That was my plan. And but what I found most surprising about Salt Fork was the 30 buoys I hit on the way out. I mean, none of them are lit, none of them shining your lights. I mean, I
They
know
were
I
they
whacked
were
a buoy on the way out.
everywhere. Yeah.
So so why don't you guys give us a little bit of background? You're new to tournament fishing this year, I believe. This is your first year tournament fishing,
This
right?
is our first year.
So why don't you give us a little background on I know you were angler of the week one time, Pam, and you kind of told us your story, but why don't you touch base on it here and tell everybody what got you into catfishing and what keeps you coming back?
Well, just growing up, everybody I knew was catfishing, and I really didn't pay much attention when I was younger, but in my early 20s, I just kind of like picked it up and then did a little bit here and there. And then I decided one day I was just going to get a boat and start fishing in lakes and just do what all the big guys like you are doing, and
No,
I
I'm not
wanted
a big
to,
guy.
I just wanted to be like you guys, and I just did a bunch of research, bought everything that you guys have, and, and I just love fishing. It keeps me going. I love the hunt. I love all the new stuff that comes along. I love learning new stuff, and it's been a nice ride for me catfishing. I mean I enjoy every minute of it. It's what I live for.
Well, and we met you guys at CJ Brown, and I remember you messaging me before the tournament asking about tournament fishing and how it was going to go, and then when you showed up, I told everybody. I mean, your attitude, your demeanor was infectious. I told everybody. I was like, we should all just be like her. Like she is ready to go. She's happy. She's spunky. She just wants to get out there and catch some fish. So I remember when I met you there at CJ Brown. It was like we instantly connected. We were buds, and it
Yeah.
still continues to this day. It was the happiest I've ever been to lose by less than an ounce. So it was cool watching you guys. When we went out dragging the other night, seems like what that little bit I was able to show you and the little bit of time you guys were with me, seems like you picked up on it because you caught fish.
Yeah, we just did everything you showed us to do, and look, it paid off.
And to know we was only a pound behind first place, like,
you were a half a pound behind first.
Yeah, and to know his backstory, like how long he's been fishing and stuff, it's like I couldn't believe that we are even placing with you guys. Like I didn't think we could do it.
Yeah, we never expected it even come close, to anybody. But
and honestly, if you remember back at CJ Brown, I didn't know if I wanted to go fish Sandusky the next weekend. I said, "Oh, well, let me talk to the wife. We'll find out." And then she was just pumped. She's like, "Let's just do it." And we lucked out on getting a couple sponsors in the beginning who was like, "Here, we'll pay for you guys. Let's go." So that helped.
Yeah, thanks for Howard's Lakeside General Store because they pay for all of our tickets every time, so that makes it a lot easier too.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I met Howard. I met Howard at CJ Brown. I had been trying to get a hold of him, and it kept telling me his phone was disconnected. But I stopped down there and talked with him, and he's all excited about the trail. He can't wait to help us next year.
Yeah. They're good people down there. I like them.
Absolutely.
So let's walk through the season a little bit. You guys were in a pontoon boat when you started the year at CJ Brown. That was your home lake. I told everybody, I thought for sure you guys were going to whoop up on everybody.
I thought so too.
But I heard you had a hard time anchoring in the wind with that big giant pontoon boat.
Yep.
Yeah, it was rough. We had to hide behind an island.
That's the main reason the pontoon went right there. The wind.
I knew that. I knew that day right then that the pontoon had to go.
Listen, we was up at Sandusky with that wind blowing on our back, man. I was surprised we even brought anything in first. And let me tell you, I've never been to Sandusky before. And after catching all them fish, I thought for sure we done won the thing. And then we get up there and everybody's just weighing in these monster fish. I'm like, dude, this lake is probably the best lake I've ever fished in my life.
I tell everybody, so if you look online, Sandusky ranks in the top 5, but it's not number 1. And whoever's doing those rankings is clueless.
Yeah.
They're clueless. So my mom says, I met those guys in the barn. Hey guys, that's my mom there.
Hey.
So you guys fished TJ Brown, on your home lake. The wind beat you up. You weren't able to place there. Then you guys come with the same attitude to Sandusky. You're all happy and ready to go. Couldn't wait to get on the water, which I thought, again, I'm like, I just need her attitude. If I could put her attitude with my fishing skills, I would be a lot better, I think.
Yeah. We actually liked Sandusky so much, we went out the next morning and fished it again. Like, we liked it that much.
Sandusky is a magical place. I love Sandusky. Now, one thing I will tell you, if you guys are planning any fishing trips, Sandusky gets harder to fish the colder the water gets, just so you know.
Yeah.
If you went up there in December, the fish are not all stacked over there like they are.
Right.
So if you go up there and catch 2 fish, you should be thankful, because it gets tough the colder the water gets. So you guys are one of the only teams that have been at every tournament since you started fishing. I think we've had 5 events now. I think there's only 3 of us that's fished 5, and I think there's only 4 or 5 of us that's fished at least 4. So for that, I thank you guys. I think it's awesome that you guys jumped right in and you're so willing to show up to the tournaments. I think that's phenomenal. After Sandusky, where did we go after Sandusky? Was it Griggs?
Griggs. That was the one.
We struggled there.
Griggs was a little tough for you guys.
So that's when the pontoon got sold and this boat originally got bought. The guy wasn't all the way honest about the boat motor. We get out there. Luckily, some other guys that was on the trail.
Darren, I think it's Darren.
Yeah, showed us how to start the motor with the anchor rope. So I'm out there wrapping around, yanking it, getting it started. We got out there, man. The electric wasn't hooked up yet. We're in pitch black. Didn't know. We kind of got beside ourselves and we just called it.
Yeah, we were covered head to toe mud. The boat was covered in mud, and I looked at Kody. I said, "You want to just call it?" He was like, "Yeah." I was like,
"We had one little channel cat."
Yeah, I said, "Let's get out of here. I can't handle this."
Well, I'll tell you, you guys left early. I didn't catch my first fish until after you guys left. So up until you left, you were doing much better than I was with your 1 fish. These last 2 tournaments have been tough for me, and I'm just on a downward. I'm having a rough.
The last one wasn't too bad for you. You was right behind us.
Barely. Barely. I didn't. When I talked to Sean at midnight, I didn't have a single fish.
Oh wow!
And then we decided to change it up, and we found this one spot that had some 3-foot water, some 7-foot water, and some 12-foot water. I said, let's take inboard, spread our baits out, and fish it all. And thankfully we did. We caught fish in all of them. We caught them from 3 to 12 feet. I went back to the basics. I mean, some of the basics you learn when you first start catfishing is catfish like marinas. I found a marina that had a big drop off at the end of it. We fished the marina, we caught fish. But if it wasn't for knowing that, I don't know that I would have caught a fish that night.
Right. And I think something that helps us out a lot is like, she has researched everything under the sun. I just literally ask her like, "Hey, where's a good spot here?" And she's like,
"Yeah, and I use this right here, and these things are helpful right here. Let me tell you."
I'm going to start paying Pam to do my research.
Yeah, well, I mean,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like I said, man, we haven't never trolled. We knew how, right? We've seen videos. We knew how to do it. We just had never did it. Then we went out and fished with you the one time, and where was that? Deer Creek.
Yeah. And we're like, we know how to do this.
We got this. And I'll talk about it. When I say 5 minutes, man, we landed that shovel head in 5 minutes.
Yeah, we went all the way up, which is it's like the main road that goes into the lake. There's a bridge, the last bridge on the main road. I had done a lot of research about some people fishing off of that bridge. So, like I said, we drove straight up there. It took us almost a whole hour to get all the way up there. I mean, the boat was chugging along at 10 miles per hour. It took us forever to get up there.
Is that how fast your boat goes with that motor on it?
Oh, I still got a couple of things tweaking out. I ordered the throttle box and some new cables. It's all going to get fixed this week.
A couple little things. It'll be a little better.
Yeah. Sure. So yeah, we got up there. We sat there for 3 whole hours. Nothing at all. And then we're like, let's troll out of here, And as soon as we started trolling, within 5 minutes, I mean, the bridge was in the background still.
I didn't even have all the rods out. I didn't put either of the planer boards out. We was just dragging the floor and it hit.
Yeah, he was getting ready to put the planer boards out, and that rod dropped, and he was like, anchor.
And it was that it was a medium heavy mad cat rod, and I'm talking about the tip of that almost touched the water. And I was like, that's the fish right there.
That's the one.
I got it all the way up to the boat, and she's down there trying to net it for me, and it did not want to come off the bottom. Was it like 10.5 feet? I fought this thing forever to get it up.
We're bringing a bigger net with us next time.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you from experience, those bigger flatheads, that's what they do when you're fighting them. They glue themselves to the bottom, and then when they get to the boat and they start coming up and they see the boat, they shoot straight down as fast as they can.
Yeah, I kept on saying, I can't see him. He's like, put him in the net. I'm like, I can't see him.
A lot of guys break off.
And yeah. I was trying to keep it away from the boat. He kept trying to go under, and I was just everything I had trying to keep him off the boat, man. But we was able to get him in.
A lot of the guys that I've watched or taken fishing that didn't know how to fish, and like for instance, I've taken guys down to Alabama, and it's just a different when you're used to fishing for channel cats or blue cats. Flathead fishing is so different. The bite's different. The way they fight is different. The way you have to fight them is different, because those big flatheads, they'll come in, suction to the bottom the whole way, and right as soon as you bring them up and they see the boat, they make that final boat run. And I've seen a lot of guys break off on that boat run because
we just lost like a 40-50 pounder at CJ Brown, just like that. Right at the boat, we lost him right at the boat.
And that's what happens. Nobody expects that, because they come in so gradually. You know, they're fighting, but they're coming to you. And Andy Ward, it's called that fuck you run, is what he said. So they're coming to the boat, and they fight you, but they're coming. But the second they see the bottom of your boat, they just dive as fast as they can. And I've caught enough of them that I learned to wait for it. But I always forget to relay that message to the people fishing with me. You know, I'll loosen my drag. When they come off the bottom, I'll go ahead and click my drag back a couple, because I know it's coming. But man, I've had so many people on my boat break off on a big flathead on that run. And I'm like, and there's nothing you can't be mad at them. They didn't know, you know, not everybody gets the chance or the opportunity to fish for big flatheads. So, you know, as much as I take it for granted, when I take new people out, I just forget to tell them, hey, get ready, here he comes, because he'll come to the boat and they're like, oh, get the net ready, and I'm like, no, we still got about 5 minutes.
Not yet. There's still once it gets to the boat, there's a fight to go. You know, I'm kind of excited. I'm ready to pull in some of these blue cats.
We're ready for Seneca for sure.
I'll tell you what, I've never fished Seneca. I'm hoping though, and the guys in the comments, especially Andy, can attest to this. I am praying that the takedowns at Seneca are just a fraction of what they are at Hoover. Because I'll tell you what, at Hoover, when they hit the pole, they're trying to rip the back of your boat off. Like, it is everybody. I don't care if the fish
we're ready for that.
I don't care if the fish is 2 pounds or 50. When a fish at Hoover hits, it rips the back of the boat off. So I'm hoping Seneca is somewhat like that.
Yeah, we're really excited. And one thing that we've never done is fish for blue cats off of a boat before. So this will be our first time.
Well, I will tell you, and I'm new to fishing for blue cats in lakes myself. I'm new to fishing for blue cats in general. When I fished the national trail, my goal was to go win it with all flatheads. That was my goal. I did catch some blue cats, but I wasn't fishing for them. So pulling boards and all of that's all new to me. I just started pulling boards 3 months ago, probably. When I started this trail, I had just started pulling boards. So, but I've learned a couple things. I've picked a couple things up here and there. And one of them is, don't be afraid to suspend baits below boards. You don't always have to be on the bottom. You know, if you're marking fish at 10 feet, then put a bait at 10 feet.
Right.
And another thing to watch for in the lakes is the thermocline. I don't know if you've learned how to,
I'm a little iffy on it. So I've had a couple people try to tell me, but I'm
you got that new fish finder, and what you'll see is on your fish finder, you'll see a solid line as you're driving. If say you're in 20 feet of water, at 12 feet, you'll just see a solid line. That's the thermocline. I
just don't know which way it's flipped, though, is my problem. Like, which way is the thermocline when you see that line?
You always want to fish at the thermocline or above it.
Oh, okay.
Because the fish, that's where the most oxygenated water is in the thermocline and above it.
Okay.
The fish, hardly ever do you catch fish below the thermocline. So that's
that's where I didn't know what to do.
That's all new to me as well. And I think I'm speaking right. I'm sure one of these people in the comment will tell me if I'm not, but I believe that's how it works. Everywhere I've fished that has a thermocline, I typically find the fish in shallow water. So I have suspended baits into the thermocline at Hoover and caught fish, but most of the time, even at Hoover, I'm fishing shallower than the thermocline.
Yeah, that's I read a while back that anything under 10 foot you really don't have to worry about. So whenever I hear people talk about thermocline, I just go shallow also. So,
It's the easiest way to get out of it. And you're just like, oh, thermocline? Let me just go up here in the shallow water. So, like I said, I'm not the most experienced with thermocline either. I've been a river fisherman all these years. I went and fished a professional tour as a river fisherman too. So, the national tour. So, I don't know much about these lakes, and even on the national tour, I got put in a situation where we fished lakes with no currents, and I did terrible. I'd bring in 10 pounds and 5 fish or 3 fish. Andy says he saw a 6-foot thermocline on Knox a few years back, and it was the best night of his life.
really?
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out.
Yeah,
Ross said he used to do the same thing. When you find a thermocline, go shallow.
Yep.
So, but no, I'm excited to see how you guys do this weekend. Heck, I'm excited to see how most people do. Like I said, I've never fished Seneca either. I've read a lot about Seneca. I looked a lot into the blue cat stocking, and like I said, they've stocked 355,000 of them. I sure hope I can catch one.
Right.
Us too.
But you fish for them a lot like you do channel cats. Blue cats and channel cats have a lot of the same behaviors, especially when you're pulling. When you're pulling boards, you'll catch blue cats and channel cats in the same area. Now, to catch a flathead while pulling boards is not common. I've never done it. I don't know. I've been doing it for 3 months. I don't believe it's very common to catch flatheads. I've never done it. So I've pulled boards ever since I learned how. That's my go-to. No matter where I'm at, I'm like, oh, let's just start pulling boards. So,
right. It's fun. Hey, I tell you what, and the other night it was crazy because, well, for one, it was the first time we'd ever used the iPilot. I never even used it before. So we get back there when we start to troll. We've got fog that's coming up over top of the boat where we're at.
That's pretty sweet.
And it was pitch black, no moon, no lights around. And I literally had my Navionics on my phone and with my remote control looking at my phone taking us through there.
Yeah, because
we couldn't see nothing at all.
Jeez.
So it was pretty crazy. So
it's the Salt Fork was a tough lake. It was a tough lake for most. I mean, Sean Dolphin caught 30-some fish, but I think that guy could catch fish in a water puddle at one.
I was gonna say, yeah,
he said he was up there by us. He just went.
Oh yeah, he said he turned back around and he went back the way we went, but it split off a little bit further up. It split off. He went to the left. We went to the right. So he was still kind of back there. Yeah.
Every fish he caught in 3 feet or less.
Yeah, we saw a boat back there in a little cove. We was wondering if that might have been him.
He never left that cove. He caught all of his fish.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, catching 30 fish, I would.
Yeah.
But now, granted, he caught 30 fish and got first place by half a pound. I caught 5 fish and was only a half a pound away from him. So I found some bigger channel cats. I just needed to upgrade 1 fish. And it's still in my live well. One of my fish spit up about a half-pound piece of bait.
Oh, wow.
So I would have been a lot better if he would have just held his dinner.
Kept it down. Yeah. If we would have just got one little channel
we didn't fish for channel cats. We had channel cat bait. We probably would have just tried to fish for channel cats. I mean, like we thought when we were dragging, we was fishing for shovelheads. You know what I'm saying? We didn't think at all we were fishing for channel cats because of that area, because all the research I had done. So we didn't really think we were fishing for channel cats. We just
I guess you learned though.
Yeah. So.
Right.
Well, there's one thing there's a couple things you guys said that I picked up on. One of them was Kody yelling, "Hit the anchor." Let Chris know I'm coming for the lake division. I'll let him know, Eric. But one of the things is I heard Kody say when he hooked into that fish, he said, "Hit the anchor." That's a bad thing. That's a bad thing to do when you're pulling boards. The reason being is when you hit the anchor, all those boards will start floating back and everything behind the boat will start getting tangled. So you don't want to do that. When you hook into a fish, just keep going straight.
Just keep going. Okay.
You can slow down a little, but keep your boat moving. Because if you don't, everything will just start floating up because you're dragging it to start floating up.
The reason I yelled that is because it was pitch black out there. We couldn't see the shoreline.
We didn't know where we were headed or anything.
So we can get this big fish in the boat.
Did you figure out how to use the heading straight button on your remote?
Yeah.
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 So
we
point yourself down river, slow down, and keep going.
Yeah, well, the problem was we couldn't see.
If we headed
here's the thing. There was like a creek. The creek was running real close to the bank.
Oh, okay.
And we were dragging that creek. We were on
Okay.
that side, so we were so close to the edge. We didn't know if we were ever going to hit
Right.
something. Like I said, we couldn't see anything at all, and our headlights made it like 100 times worse.
They see the end of the boat. That's about it.
Yeah,
Andy
that was
said, always bring bait for channels. Channels can win a tournament. And then Ross said, what's a good channel cat bait? Never really targeted just channels. My favorite channel cat bait is my favorite bait of all time anyways, is just cut shad.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't beat, if you're looking for channel cats, just downsize your bait a little. That's what I've learned.
Yeah.
That's what me and Chris did. Chris and I, we struggled all night. And we got down to about midnight, and I'm looking at him and he's looking at me, and he's like, dude, we got to catch fish. And I said, it's gonna be real odd if we don't come back with any fish.
Right.
So we switched it up. We went to smaller baits. I mean, I'm talking little tiny baby baits. And I didn't change my hooks. I still had 8/0 hooks on, and I'm using baits that are smaller than the hook.
Yeah.
And we started dragging near that marina, and it was actually Matt Jones. You guys probably don't know him, Matt Jones. Several years ago, I fished a tournament with him at Taylorsville, and we were struggling. And he said, hey, man, if you're struggling and there's a marina, just go to the marina. So I'm giving away my secrets here, but
well, I read about that marina, and there's a public beach across from it.
We drug them
And
both.
I had
we drug the beach
in my
and the marina.
in my research that I had done, that was the hot spot. I kind of knew everybody was going to go over that way. When I saw everybody head that direction, I figured
everybody went over there.
Josh Webb says, Kody Huffman and Aunt Pam, look at y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate
We're
it.
trying.
So it was, yeah, like I said, me and Chris, and I mean, I don't consider myself to be the best fisherman, but Chris is a damn good fisherman. That guy can find fish anywhere. I know he can. And we're both just kind of looking at each other, and I was like, dude, we got to figure something out. And then when we got to 5, I had talked to Sean, and he said he was about 30 pounds, and I was like, we're at about 30 pounds. So I had already, I mean, I hate to say this, it makes me seem horrible, but I'm going back to the boat ramp like it's between us and Sean, you know? And I got to the boat ramp, the first thing I hear is Pam caught a 25-pound flathead. I'm like, well, we're out of the race. Pam wins.
Yeah, man. I figured there would be quite a few shovelheads brought in, and to know that we was the only one, like, I was a little excited. I'm gonna be like, hey, Pam, we brought that in. But yeah, I love every bit of all this.
This is just exciting.
It's like the whole trail. I'm gonna say predominantly almost everybody is like friendly, nice. You know what I mean? It just kept me wanting to come back, and I just appreciate all y'all and being able to, like, you just showing us, you know what I mean? Like, hey, this is how you use this. This is the trolling motor you need, you know what I mean? And just helping us out. And that's everybody in general. Like, we are so appreciative for that, because we wouldn't have placed second place, I don't think, if we didn't know how to do this stuff.
So Andy says lake fishing for flatheads, if you don't know the lake, is tough. I'm going to expand on that and saying catching flatheads in lakes is near impossible. Coming from the guy that tried to win the national trail only catching flatheads. I've fished several lakes that have flatheads in them, and I'm still just bringing in channel cats.
Right.
I actually am to the point now, instead of starting out looking for a flathead at all these places, I start out and say, let's get our 5 channel cats, and then we'll go look for a flathead. Because I thought for sure coming into this, I'd be able to go to these lakes and I'd have no problem catching them. It is way different in lakes than it is on the river. Eric, actually, Chris and I were just talking about that on the phone when I realized I was late to the party for this. I looked down at my phone and said, man, I got my podcast at 7, and I looked down, it was 7:05. I'm like, oh, I got to go. So, but yeah, so it's, we are super excited that you guys are a part of the trail, and that's the difference in catfishing and let's say bass or crappie or walleye. Even those guys are so competitive. It's who can I cutthroat to be the best the next day, and that's not what you're going to get here in catfishing. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I became so big in the catfishing community with TikTok and things like that, was because I'm just willing to help. You know, I love doing what I do. I love catching fish. I'm not the best fisherman. I do have a lot of fun fishing, but I enjoy what I enjoy more fishing wise is teaching. You know, taking you guys dragging at night. I told you guys, I don't care if I catch a fish. I was having a blast watching you guys catch fish. And then Kody lost that 25-pounder at the boat.
I think that was you.
Ah,
I didn't let you live it down the whole fishing trip.
There wasn't a camera on the boat.
What a
Definitely
night though! You caught the biggest A-frame I've ever seen.
Hey, you
I
should.
pulled up a whole A-arm for a car.
Yeah, that was crazy. And you hooked just the smallest little hole in there. I didn't know. He's like, dude, I don't know what it is, man.
That was
Yeah, no.
great.
So I mean,
Fun night.
I thoroughly enjoyed that night, and I've done that with several people. I took Daniel to the river. I taught him how to fish the river. I'm not really. I say I taught. That's not the word for it. You guys know how to fish. I'm just showing you what I know how and trying to help boost your confidence. I don't
Yeah,
have to
we
show
love
people like you.
learning.
Yeah, I don't have to show people like you how to fish. You know how to fish. With you specifically, I picked up on it very early. It was a confidence thing. You were questioning a lot of the things you were doing. So I just wanted to show you what I was doing so that when you made the decision to drag, you weren't like, "Oh, should we be dragging?" I could tell that was your personality. So
yeah, you're right. I have lacked the confidence, and that has been a big issue with me. I'm like, I know how to catfish. I never thought that I could fish with you guys, and stand up and be proud to be, fishing beside everybody. Like, that I put my heart into something, and I didn't want to just like kind of look like, I don't know, want to say a fool. Like, why am I even here with all these guys? They're so good at what they do, but it's just nice to be able to be there and have the confidence now to hang out with you guys and stuff. Cause I definitely didn't have it before. And I thank you for that because you told me you just got to do it. Just put all that behind you and just go for it. So
just go for it. That's all you can do. And I'll tell
Loved
you,
every minute of it.
Cincinnati is my favorite place to fish from coast to coast. I mean, I've been all over the country fishing, and I love fishing in Cincinnati. That's my favorite pool of the Ohio River. It's close to home, and I fished a 2-day tournament down there that was worth 10 grand and skunked on the first day.
Yeah, that's
so it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how bad you are. The one thing that I love about fishing, and it's, across everything, I've done a lot of things in life. I got into hunting, and even with hunting, if you throw a bunch of money at hunting, then you can make it successful. It doesn't matter what you're hunting. If you want to be the best duck hunter in the world, go be Tony Vandermoor and throw millions at it, and you'll kill all the ducks you ever wanted to kill. You want to kill a giant deer, go throw money at it, and you can go anywhere in the world and kill a giant deer. I don't care how much money you have. You cannot throw money at catfishing and be a good catfisherman. You can't do it. And that's what makes it a level playing field in the fishing world. Like I said, the hunting guys, the deer hunters and the duck hunters of the world, they can just throw all their money at it and be good. You can't do that catfishing. You can't take $100,000 under the river and say, "Here, bite my hook." You just can't do it.
Yeah.
And, So and that's what sets the fishing industry apart from the hunting industry or any other industry out there. No matter what you're doing, you can throw money at it and make yourself great. Not here. It takes patience. I'm not even gonna say it takes skill. It takes a lot of luck. I can find every fish in the river. You gotta hope he's ready to eat. You gotta hope your bait hits him in the mouth or whatever it is. So I remember you being discouraged when your boat was messing up and when you weren't doing well at these tournaments. And I remember saying to you, just keep showing up, Perfect example. You guys got second this week. Daniel won the last tournament. You're both brand new fishermen. So you both don't have much, not brand new fishermen, brand new tournament fishermen. You both don't have much experience in this. But you guys were able to take, I don't want to give myself credit because that's not what I'm doing, but you guys were able to take the things that I showed you that contrasted to what you normally do, put them to use and win and get second place.
Well, exactly what you showed us to do is exactly how we caught the fish. So we do credit you for that.
I just credit me. Like I said, it's just fishing. I just showed you ways to be confident while doing it. So Eric Jacob says Shawnee State Park has a great boat ramp. I look at those guys next year, Jacob. Our schedule for the winter trail and our schedule for next year are currently set. Andy Ward says he hates Cincinnati. Gallipolis is his favorite. A lot of people hate Cincinnati. I don't hate Cincinnati. It's my favorite pool of the river. I catch a lot of big fish down there. But
I've never fished the river.
Yeah, like I said, I took a boat I had years ago down there. I told you the story where I didn't even know how to fish. I didn't even have rod holders, but I was fishing for catfish. I literally had my pole laying across my boat with my clicker on. I did get bites. But I never caught anything. But I fished from the bank down there in your pool. You
In
know,
my pool, see?
in your pool, I fished down there, and then I've done pretty well down there.
Let
So
me tell you, as I was driving on the second day, I was defeated after not doing. I didn't weigh in the first day. We did catch one 3-pound channel cat. Jeff caught it, but as I'm defeated the second day, I'm driving by the Licking River. Like, should I? Should I just sit right there? Should I just fish where Pam said she catches her fish? And for whatever
uh-huh.
reason, I did not stop at the Licking River. I probably should have.
Oh man,
I probably
you
should have. I
should have.
drove right by it.
Look, I've never been skunked in that spot ever
Well, we just gave it to everybody.
from the bank.
We
So
just gave it to the 100 people that'll watch this podcast. So you're probably get skunked there now.
yeah.
But no, like I said, we're really excited that you guys picked up on this and you guys are running with it. Like it's, you're doing great.
It's
You're
so
doing-
much fun.
We love
I love
it,
it.
and we don't come in ever expecting to win. It'd be nice. We just love the experience, and we're also just looking forward to every tournament, just because we just want to keep on learning more.
It's
and the
something
good
new.
thing, the one thing, my advice to anybody who comes to these tournaments, and there's a lot of guys that always leave early. My advice is stay through the weigh-in, because when you get to whoever won, if you ask them how they caught their fish, where they fished, how they fished, in the catfishing world, they will always tell you. I learned so much on the national trail by just staying at the weigh-in. Even if I knew I wasn't going to do good, I weighed in and then I stood there. And even if it wasn't me asking, somebody was asking. And it's just, when you're at those weigh-ins in a catfish tournament, the information is plentiful. There's no reason to leave early and get mad. And what I've learned, and the best way to do it is, I was defeated after Rising Sun, but I wasn't mad. I talked to the guys who did well, and I talked to, unfortunately, Andy and Joe, who beat me. But I just asked, how did you guys do it? What was you guys doing? These guys were dragging, these guys were anchored. And on the second day, I found all my fish anchored on deep structure. And I've even told you guys, after the tournament, hey, where'd you guys fish? And you tell me, and I'm like, well, this is where I fish. Maybe think about this for the next tournament.
Yeah.
And there's so much information at the end of a tournament that guys always miss because they go home. Just stay. Give it an extra 30 minutes.
We're not leaving early anymore. Look, we've already regretted even leaving Griggs, even though we were defeated. And
I'm not pointing the finger at you.
We said we were never going to leave again, even if we didn't have no fish.
Right.
We were going to stay for now on. We weren't going to do that anymore. So
there's just so much information and so much knowledge to gain at the weigh-in. Even if you don't have any fish, just come and talk to people. Everybody will tell you how they did it. That's what I love. Go fish a Bassmaster Open and ask the winner where he caught his fish. He'll probably punch you in the face on his way back to his
Yeah.
Yeah.
Laura, I wasn't pointing the finger at you either. I promise. That's not what I was trying to do, guys. I'm just saying, it's for a new cat fisherman. I kind of made myself look like an ass there. I wasn't trying to point the finger at anybody. I promise. But it's for the new cat fisherman, like Pam or like Daniel. The best and easiest way to learn is just stick around and
keep showing up and stick around.
Yep. So,
you learn a lot real quick.
And as we get more anglers, like for instance, Laura and John, they came and fished the first one at Griggs, and he's like, yeah, we'll be at them. He said, we'll be at the next one. And then I texted him the other day to thank him for coming to Salt Fork. He said, yep, we'll be at the next one. So I really like where this is headed, and we're building a really good core group of anglers. And that's what I think every successful tournament trail needs. You need your 10 to 15 anglers that you can count on to be at the tournaments. They're out saying good things about you. They're spreading the word. I know this year we're not going to get really big. I know we're not, because we didn't have enough time to advertise this before it started. I started this thing on a Wednesday, and we had our first tournament on that Saturday. I pulled 14 boats that Saturday, which I was ecstatic to get 14 boats in the first tournament. And so far our least amount of boats has been 10. It was Salt Fork, 10 boats. Yeah. So we as we keep going here, and as our core group of anglers grows, and our support system starts to grow, really it's all about thanking you guys. If people like you and people like John and Laura and Andy and Joe, if you guys didn't show up every week, if you weren't out saying good things about the trail, if you weren't sharing all the posts, I do a lot of advertising, and I think it probably makes some people sick when they see me post something 115 times. But on the other side of things, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? So if you're
Right.
constantly seeing something about Mid Ohio, it's gonna at least pique your interest to come and look.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Hey, we appreciate you putting on a good trail. We've enjoyed it.
well, I try my best. I know there's some guys out there that don't like me and they got stuff to say about me, but I've kind of learned to put that behind me, and I'm doing the best that I can for you guys. Everything I do is for the anglers. I'm not making any money on this. I've put money into it. Sponsors have put money into it. I don't want to make any money off this. That's never going to be my goal. I don't care how big we get, how much money we make, as long as the expense is covered. And at the end of the day, the balance sheet reads zero. I'm fine with that. The other people on the board are the same way. We don't care to make any money. We wanted to put on a tournament trail that gave everybody the national feel right here in the state of Ohio, where people like you can come and fish against the best in the state of Ohio and really test your abilities. You're new to this, and look, here you are in second place.
Second place.
And if I remember right, I'd have to go back and look, but top 5 in the points race right now too, right?
Yeah, I think we're fourth.
Yeah. You can't ask for anything better in your first year of tournament fishing.
Yeah.
So
I love it, man. I love it.
Eric, we don't have any plans for a length division this year. But Chris and I talked about it, and I'm going to talk with Kayak Mike, and I'm going to see if we can't get something together for a length division next year. Even if it's just half of the events. Next year we have 20 events. So it could definitely happen.
Can't wait.
So
I just went and picked me up a boat right before I came here.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
There we go.
it's just
that's gonna be 2 separate teams next year.
Maybe. I don't know. We might fish it together. Who knows?
But no, it's been so enjoyable, man. I truly like being a tournament director. I didn't know if I would. I didn't know how much I'd like it, but I have truly enjoyed getting to know everybody and giving my portion to the catfishing community. I know it's not much, but I have truly enjoyed meeting people like you, giving what I can, and bringing that big tournament feel. I mean, next year I've already secured $30,000 in sponsorship money for next year. So, I mean, next year I'm looking for the Angler of the Year race to pay 10 grand. I'm looking for the championship to pay 10 grand. I'm looking for every event to have $1,000 added to it. The overall points champion, $2,500. I mean, I'm looking for $60,000 in sponsorship money, and I'm halfway there. So,
we definitely gotta be part of that.
I like hearing that.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing, and I think there's a false narrative out there that I'm doing this to hurt other tournament trails or discourage people from fishing other tournament trails. That has never been my plan. My plan from the beginning was bring a national tournament trail feel to Ohio while including the whole state. I'm not fishing the same lakes 3 times so that only the same 10 anglers can fish those lakes. There is a need for that. There are guys that like fishing just a couple lakes, and that's perfectly fine. There are several lakes I like. Any tournament that comes to Deer Creek, I'm fishing it. I don't care whose it is. Any tournament down at Rocky Fork, I'm coming to fish it. I don't care who it is. I like Rocky Fork.
Right.
That's why I spread mine out over the whole state. I made it to where if you live in Northeast Ohio, there are 5 events within 2 hours of your house. If you live in Northwest Ohio, there are 5 events within 2 hours of your house. Everywhere you go, you can fish a tournament and be within 2 hours of your house. That was my goal. Because what I hated more than anything when fishing professionally on the national trail was driving 12 hours to fish a tournament. Leaving Friday after work, driving all night to get there and fish. Or leaving Thursday after work, driving all night to get to the captain's meeting. So I felt that if I brought that feel to Ohio, it would really take off. And although we're not pulling 30, 40, 50, 60 boats right now, we are pulling more than 10 at every event. So
yeah.
I am jacked about that. And Aaron Goodman is still in first. He wanted everybody to know. He caught a 4-pound fish, and he's still in first place.
We see you.
We see you, Aaron.
He said, my back hurts from carrying this first place for so many weeks. The good news is,
you can give it to us if you don't want it.
A little bit of encouraging words to everybody. Aaron Goodman won't be there next week. So Corey will for sure. Aaron and Sean aren't coming next week. So Corey should, for sure, slide right up in first place. We won't have to worry about seeing Aaron's name anymore.
Uh-oh.
We should finish better than him.
Yeah, well, we've got to try real hard then.
John Ratliff did win Rising Sun, the kayak division, and he killed it, dude. I was watching the score sheet all day, and it just kept changing and changing and changing. And at the beginning, John was nowhere near the top, but I kept watching, and right there at the end, he popped up. I don't know if you guys know John Ratliff. He is a heck of a guy. He did fish Griggs. He was Darren's partner, actually.
Okay.
Heck of a guy. He's another guy. He's willing to show you anything he knows. He's willing to get you bait, whatever you need. John is awesome.
Okay. I've seen him around, but I've never met him. So.
Aaron said, "Now I'll be there." I bet he's not.
Oh.
We'll see.
Andy, why wouldn't you come to Seneca? It's a day tournament. You said you weren't coming to any night tournaments. Why wouldn't you come to the next day tournament? But anyway, so we man, people blowing me up right now. Oh, back.
Yeah, I like them morning tournaments. I do like them.
What'd you say?
I like the morning tournaments. The up there at Sandusky, getting off the water at 2 o'clock.
A lot of people like the morning tournament. Oh, John said he was there to help you guys get your motor started. He was one of the ones.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Everybody took off, man. I thought we was gonna sink with all the wake around us. I thought it was.
Oh man, we were eating everybody's wake. It was horrible. I was turning the nose of my boat to the left, then to the right. It was horrible.
Motor smoking. I'm back there looking crazy. Cow off. We're going like 3 miles an hour. We made it though.
At the following tournament, if it happens, what's after Seneca? Buckeye
You tell
Lake.
us.
Why wouldn't Buckeye Lake happen? But,
I think is it Buckeye Lake?
It's either Buckeye Lake or Dillon. It's Buckeye Lake because Dillon's the next weekend after 2 weeks after that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Anyways, so back to what we were talking about. The catfishing community is just an awesome community. It's a great community to be a part of. I've seen guys have hard times in life. Oh, okay. Anyway, so I've seen guys like, Joe Granada had a heart attack. He then had to have open heart surgery. He then had to have a heart transplant. And the catfishing community stepped up in a huge way, financially and emotionally. They helped take care of his kids and his wife. And when you see stuff like that happen, I mean, that just doesn't happen in every community in the world. Everything else is so cutthroat and so competitive. There just aren't guys that are willing to do that kind of stuff. The one thing I know is that it feels great to be part of such a strong knitted community like the catfishing community. And you guys will see the longer you get into it, like Sean Dolphin is one of the best here around Columbus. I mean, I'm not ashamed to admit it. The guy is phenomenal. He's been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah, I've been following Sean for years myself. So I already knew he was the best. So.
Well, one of the best, Pam.
Well, he's pretty good.
I'm in second place. But no, and even Sean is just so willing to give information and help any way he can. Here we go.
Second. I can honestly say when we were sitting at CJ and we seen like all the real nice fishing boats pull up and stuff, I was really discouraged. I looked there like I think we're in over our head. I don't think we could even. I mean, even at that one, we was what, 5th. I mean, it wasn't too bad.
I mean, you guys are killing it for your first year tournament fishing.
Yeah, I'm excited, man, and I don't know.
Everybody's been so nice to us. Everybody, and I can't remember everybody's names, but just everybody that we have spoke to that have been at the tournaments have just taken us in and just been so nice to us and tell us that they're rooting for us, and I love hearing that, and I'm rooting for everybody else too. You know what I mean? Like. I'm just as happy for everyone.
Catch a little bit less than us. That's all.
Well, I did. I caught just a little bit less. Less than an ounce. 7/10 of an ounce.
Second time that's happened.
Yeah. Andy said, "I don't have a fancy boat. Fancy doesn't mean jack." And I've told everybody I have a really nice boat, and I've told everybody I could go catch him out of a wheelbarrow if I had to. Just give me a fish finder. That's all I need. I don't need a boat. I just need a nice fish finder. And but I'm gonna switch gears here because we only have about 10 minutes left. So Pam, could you pull up on your phone real fast and pull up the Mid-Ohio Catfishing webpage and pull up the post I just made about the Polar Series, please?
Hold on, Cody's going to pull it up on his phone.
Oh, you guys got your phone to work?
Yeah, for whatever reason. Yeah, it started working.
About the permits.
Yeah, it says permits are pulled, and it has a list of lakes.
Yep.
All right, so hold on. Just hold it for a second. I wanted to take the last 10 minutes of this and kind of go down what we're doing with this Polar Series that we have going on. You're going to hear me call it Polar Series, Polar League, back and forth, because I had Polar League written down, and for whatever reason, I typed Polar Series. Throughout the year, I've had several people come up to me and say that how good the fishing is in Ohio in the winter. And I will admit to you that I have never fished Ohio in the winter. When I want to fish in the winter, I go to the James. Usually once a month, I go to Virginia and I fish at the James. So upon listening to this, I mean, there's been several people, probably 10 total, that have come up and said, hey, we don't have a tournament series in the winter in Ohio. I'd like to see one, even if it's just one tournament here and one tournament there. So I said, I don't know why, and my wife is not very happy about all these tournaments, but I said, why don't we just go ahead and put one on? We'll call it the Polar League or the Polar Series. And so I sat down today. I filled out permits for a bunch of different lakes, and I made up a schedule. I asked Sean and Andy, who both said they fish in the winter a lot. I said, where would you guys fish if we fished in the winter? And they both gave me lakes, and I was like, you know what? That's what we're going to go with. So we're going to kick the Polar Series off on October 28th at Rocky Fork. If you've never fished Rocky Fork, now I do want to let you guys know this Polar Series is completely separate from the Mid-Ohio Catfishing Tournament Trail. So it will be a whole separate league, a whole separate point race, a whole separate. The rules are the same, but the entry fee in these is more. It's $100 to get into the winter series, because I know we're going to have less boats in the winter, so we still want to make the payouts pretty good. I don't have any sponsors yet for this winter series. I don't know if I can find any sponsors for this winter series. I am for sure going to try, but we'll see what happens. But the reason that we're discussing this now is there's just no other winter tournament trails out there. So I saw a need and I filled the need, right? So I filled out all these permits. We start at Rocky Fork on October 28th. When's the next tournament, Cody?
4th.
The next tournament is November 4th at Hoover.
Yep.
Now that is about, 3 weeks after we fish Hoover the first time. So the Mid-Ohio Catfishing Tournament Trail goes to Hoover on the 21st. Now, if you guys are fishing my event at Hoover on the 21st, the one thing you need to know, and I'll come out with the rules for that here soon, it is going to have its own separate set of rules. The reason being is the population of blue cats at Hoover has been very, very well maintained, has been very manicured by several different people, Shane Henderson and Joe Hatfield and Amanda Johnson. They have literally poured their blood, sweat, and tears into these blue cats at Hoover. So we are going to knock it down from a 5-fish weigh-in to a 3-fish weigh-in at Hoover. I'm going to be really stringent on your live wells. We got to make sure live wells can hold big fish, can hold, and like your guys' live wells, fine, but it can hold big fish. It can keep them alive. You got to have an aeration system or a recirc. There was a guy last week that came in with a 70-quart cooler. I'm not going to allow a 70-quart cooler. I'm actually going to ask, if you're using coolers, to have 2 coolers, both set up the same way, because there's a possibility that you catch a 50-pound fish at Hoover. They're there. Even if you have a 140-quart cooler, that's going to hold one 50-pound fish. So,
yeah, we got our cooler is 165, and I told Cody, I said, well, what would we do if we had 5 of those 22-pounders in there? It ain't gonna happen.
Stack them.
Right. So, yeah, I am. If you're going to use the cooler, it's going to have to be 150 or bigger, and you got to have 2 of them.
Yep,
I've
got 2 of them,
or
so
recirc or something. They have to have something. So, and I will make a post about this well in advance for Hoover. But it's because we want to protect the fish at Hoover. Yeah. They are growing a phenomenal fishery. We don't have any other fisheries like that in Ohio. Our rivers got killed by pay lakers for years and years and years, so we don't have those anymore. And Andy, his truck toolbox was full with 3 fish on Saturday. So there's 2 tournaments I'm going to knock down to 3 fish, Hoover and the river. Both of those will come down to 3 fish limits. So there's going to be some tweaking to the rules for Hoover, but yes, so we fish Hoover on the 21st. And then also I want to remind everybody that we fished it on Saturday. And Joe Hatfield fishes it for his championship on Sunday. I would really like to see anybody who fishes our Hoover tournament on Saturday, if you can, to fish Joe's tournament on Sunday. Joe runs the main league there. It's called Hoover Cats. It's a great time. He runs an awesome tournament. So when we fish our tournament on the 21st, and I'm going to say it the morning of the 21st at the captain's meeting, and I'm going to say it the night of the 21st at the weigh-in, I would really like to see anybody who fishes our event come back and fish Joe's event to show him how much we appreciate everything he's done for the Blue Cats, and the conservation at Hoover. So moving on from Hoover on 11-4, where do we go next?
11-8 would be Alum Creek.
So I've never fished Alum Creek. I hear the fishing at Alum Creek is great. The problem with Alum Creek is in the summer, it's loaded with pleasure boats. And I'm talking loaded. You can't even fish because there's thousands of people out there. So I chose to do Alum Creek in the winter series because I do not believe on November 8th there's going to be a bunch of boats at Alum Creek.
Probably not.
Alum Creek is a great channel cat fishery. Fishes a lot like the rest of them. There's a lot of fishing in Alum Creek.
For sure.
So, what's next after Alum Creek?
O'Shea on, or no, Clear Fork on 12-2.
I've also never fished Clear Fork, but Andy Ward did just post pictures from Clear Fork last week, and it looks like it has a lot of 10-pound channel cats in it. So,
nice.
Clear Fork should be a good time. Andy actually suggested that one. Andy was going to run his own winter events, and then when I talked to him, he said, "Listen, dude, I don't want to be a tournament director, and you're already doing it, so you run this thing." So that's kind of where it came from. But after Clear Fork is O'Shaughnessy, right?
Yep.
O'Shaughnessy is great for channel cats. There's other tournament trails in Ohio that run a lot of tournaments on O'Shaughnessy. They do really well. I hear it gets better the later it gets. The colder it gets, the better it gets. And then after O'Shaughnessy is Gallipolis.
Yep.
After O'Shaughnessy, we wrap up the year on New Year's Eve is it New Year's Eve?
Yeah, 12:30. Yep.
Is that 31 or 30 days in December?
12:30. 31. Yeah, there's 31. So
on 12
the day before.
on 12:30 we run down to Gallipolis. Now, the one thing I will tell you is if we end up having a really nasty winter and these lakes all freeze up, then the tour is just going to end. There will be a points race that is a running points race for everyone. It's not going to be your best 3, your best 4. It's fish as hard as you can for all of them, and whoever's leading at the end gets the $500. So,
and that matters if you cancel or end the tour.
If I end the tour, whoever's leading when I end the tour wins. The money's not payable until January 1st. And it says that on there. Whoever wins that angler of the year gets it on January 1st. The one sponsor I found that's willing to put it up said that he doesn't have any money left in his budget this year, but he can pay it out on January 1st. So angler of the year for the winter series gets paid January 1st.
Nice.
So, but I'm super excited about that winter series. Like I said, I've never fished the winter here in Ohio, but I hear it's great. I hear that the fishing gets better the colder it gets, just like everywhere else in the country. The fishing is great in the winter in Alabama. It's great in Virginia. It's great in Tennessee. So it must be great in Ohio too.
Let's
find out.
We'll see.
But guys, this has been an awesome episode. I really enjoyed talking with you guys. Is there any questions in the comments? Any questions from you guys that I can answer or anything?
Where do you fish at specifically at the next tournament? Tell me where you're going there.
In my boat, because I've never been there.
Okay. Man. Fair enough.
We'll just follow
you. Just tell me when you get out there where you're going. I know you've heard some stuff.
I'm like, hey, I'm hammering them in the parking lot.
You might as well just tie our boat up to yours and just drag us along.
Yeah, pull us so we can go quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So, any questions from you guys in the comments? John, Andy, anybody? Any suggestions? Anything about the winter trail we want to talk about? We're wrapping up here. We got an hour. We're about at our hour mark. We've got a minute and a half left. Any questions for Pam and Kody? Any words of advice for Pam and Kody? Awkward silence.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Well, we can't.
Keep shutting off.
We come in second place. We're not getting no advice anymore.
Weather can be rough like wind-wise. Will you reschedule? If the lake's not frozen and we have bad wind, yes, tournaments will be rescheduled.
Cool.
So
nice.
All right. With that, guys, I am Corey. This is Pam and Kody. This has been the Mid-Ohio Catfishing Podcast. We appreciate everybody who watches. We appreciate everybody who comments. You guys can always shoot any questions to us at Mid-Ohio Catfishing Tournament Trail on Facebook. And you can shoot me a message there or on my personal Facebook, Corey Jeffers. But until next time, we will see you guys on the water. Thanks, Pam and Kody.
All right, Corey.
See ya.
See ya.